Alright, blue-black control. I don't know. The key to not being disappointed in life is low expectations. We've got 3 Augur of Bolas here in the deck. We've got 28 hits for Augur, so it's actually quite a good number of hits. One card that I think looks pretty reasonable in here is we've got a couple copies of Cling to Dust at the bottom end of the curve. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it's a creature card, gain 3 life. Otherwise, you draw a card. Seems like a neat inclusion that could possibly give us a little bit of stabilization room against things like red aggro. This is the only escape card in here. We technically have this, which uses a little bit of the graveyard as a resource, but for the most part, this will be the only thing utilizing our graveyard. Let's hop on into a couple of ladder matches here with this one and see how it goes. Ilstabob, thank you for the 12 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. They can't bounce permanents if we don't have permanents in play. Yeah. Take that, Brazen Borrower. Yeah, it seems like almost every state has deemed restaurants an essential business. Which, is definitely a take. Yeah, the Illinois governor's been doing a good job. Aside from not delaying the primary, I've agreed with every decision he's made and been appreciative of it. Yeah, those are casualties of war. Yikes. We're gonna keep all the lands in the face of casualties of war. Most of my drivers are telling me they won't commit anymore if it's declared. I mean, that's what they got to do to protect themselves. Yeah, if Cry was instant speed to exile this, it'd be real good. They're up to 4 cards in their bin total now. They need 6, this plus 5. Alright. Splash white and it could be, yep, just need a little bit more Teferi in your life. That being said, these Tyrant Scorns are actually incredibly good against, gonna keep all our counter spells here, actually incredibly good against Uro, right? Because even though this escapes for 4, it still has converted mana cost to 3 while it's in play, so we can destroy or bounce it. I mean, we definitely just kill it, right? They only have so many cards in their discard pile. I assume Cry's not super useful here. Chemister's Insight really good at mitigating some of those game 1 problems decks like this tend to have. So, because they have 3 Uros, I'm actually going to exile a non-Uro here, because exiling a non-Uro lets me draw a card, which is great. This is an instant too, right? Yep. I probably should have played a land and just passed and held that up. Atris, I think I'm gonna counter that. Rather than let them draw cards. This notably puts the extra cards in their graveyard too, so I don't really want to give them extra cards in here. See them escape this. If we're fortunate, we'll draw one of our 2 main deck copies of Ritual of Soot next turn to clear things out. To touch on restaurant subjects, CA deemed them as an essential business so the homeless can eat warm meals. I mean, sure, that kind of makes sense. So the reason why something that shouldn't need to be declared an essential business is declared essential because of another glaring issue with the society in which we live. So that is something that has to be deemed an essential business because our society as a whole is flawed and we have an incredible amount of homeless in the most wealthy country in the world. Sounds about right. Hey, thanks for the tips, Skylock. $10 for Naya Ranger and Naya Feather. Thanks for being a beacon of reasonable, intelligent thought in a time that doesn't have much of either of those things. Thank you. Thanks for the 14 months right now. Do I want to shock this in? Probably. I'm not sure my health total is super relevant here. They're only up to 4 cards in here. They unfortunately found another Uro. If you like Legacy Storm, we had some fun games. I think Legacy Storm's a deck I don't mind playing because even when we lose, the games tend to be interesting. Thanks for the 5 months, Luncho. I don't know. I feel like, in my opinion, the argument that as someone who doesn't cook for himself and has gone weeks or months during undergrad without ever eating an actual cooked meal and living on like peanut butter and jelly and other stuff that's not cooked, I personally think the argument that you have to leave them open for truck drivers so they have to have warm food specifically to eat is kind of bunk. I get that it's less efficient and less privileged and less nice for them to have to eat things that aren't prepared. Like, it's pleasant to eat prepared food. I agree with that. But like saying that like you have to have those as opposed to having things like Cliff Bars and crackers and peanut butter and like blocks of cheese, stuff like that, like lots of things that you can readily keep on you. Things, even cheese isn't even a good example because that refers to refrigeration. MREs even, and I get that those things don't taste good and they don't spark joy as much as prepared food does. But saying that, like, you have to have these things to survive is just, like, it's just not true. It's objectively false. So, like, if you're gonna make that argument, at least say you think we should keep these unnecessary things open because you enjoy these things. At least acknowledge that you're saying they're not necessary for survival. They're not. And I get it, they're more pleasant and they taste better and people like them, but call a spade, keep things above the board, don't lie to me and don't lie to yourself about the reality. These things are not a necessity. They're not. They just aren't. It's about maintaining some normalcy. Nothing about what is going on right now is normal. And maybe if there wasn't some, and maybe in fact, I would argue we have too much normalcy currently. I would argue part of the reasons why we can't keep people off of beaches and we can't teach idiot college freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors to take this seriously is because there's too much normalcy going on during a time of crisis that we are currently experiencing. All right. I don't really care if they kill one of my lands, right? Like, do I care? Sorry, I meant Pelucrados. I think I'm gonna take Pelucrados. Like, I can kill their Uros and then, like, cling one eventually. Oh, I could take an Uro, cling an Uro. The problem with that is these Scorns don't kill Poly K. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to exile Poly K because these Scorns don't kill him. I haven't played a land yet this turn. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, see what we draw. Perfect. That's actually probably worth keeping there. From my understanding, Punchworthy, after the initial rush happened last week, in most places, asterisk, I'm not saying everywhere, asterisk, if you have anecdotal evidence to the contrary, bugger off, I believe you. Most places are not currently having supply chain issues keeping stores stocked. If you have data or sources to the contrary saying most places are having issues keeping stores stocked, please feel free to reference them so I can be informed. But my current understanding of the situation is that in most places, keeping things stocked after the initial rush has not been a huge problem. All right, it's another castle. Four days ago, your stores most looked normal. Eggs, toilet paper, flour, and Easter things you couldn't find at a first stop. How many cards in their deck? 26 to R33. You work for a consumer packaged goods company, and stocks are replenished daily and capacity is increased weekly. The out of stocks you see are from days trucks are getting eaten up, and it will keep coming in, I promise. Yeah, that's my understanding. Sure, we're talking specifically with context to Food Singer, because people are trying to posit the argument that restaurants need to stay open for food supplies to be available. You can exile now to, yeah, their lands mean I can't. How do we turn the corner and win this game? Well, our deck's a control deck without a really efficient win condition, so we're gonna have a hard time actually turning a corner. So, like, I guess I'm super confused, because, like, maybe I'm just the exception, so my confusion is weird, but, like, when Christy and I, do people not normally keep food in their houses? Because, like, when Christy and I, like, went and stocked up so we didn't have to leave the house for, like, 2 or 3 weeks, we really didn't buy that much more than we normally buy. You're a daily shopper. That's so strange to me. Yeah, like I have a chest in my, there is a chest in my garage that, like, a freezer chest that, like, is just basically casually always full. I'm gonna leave Blast Zone there because, actually I'm not. They're probably gonna casualties it or something. And let's eat this and I can exile it. I would love a Kefnet. Yeah, I guess that's fair. We don't eat a ton of fresh stuff. We do canned and frozen stuff a lot of the time. Like, a lot of the stuff that goes in our fridge is things like cheese and yogurt, which keep for a couple of weeks to a month a lot of the time. There's a freezer full of Uncrustables. I mean, there is usually a big box of Uncrustables in it. Yeah, Kefnet can trigger on their turn, which is sweet. Yeah, but, like, even people saying a week's worth of food, that means, like, you're not adding that much stress, right? Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, like, Christy and I guess it's just like Christy and I eat out a good bit, but I feel like we also just have stuff on hand a lot of the time. All right, this is their last Uro, right? So I should probably actually... So this isn't going to let them escape Uro here. So I think I actually just draw with Castle here. And then we get to reveal Opt. It's pretty good live-in. I actually don't want Augur here because this is going to get tucked into my deck and I don't want Augur to take it away. Hey, Zothar, thanks for the 7 months. Okay, so we've ground them out of resources here, huh? They're at 46. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They are at 46. I'm gonna exile their Uro before they can put cards in their bin. First Augur trigger puts 3 cards at the bottom of our deck in any order. Sounds about right. Opponent is down to 9. We might actually deck them this game too. Average Augur of Bolas, yep. Hey, Bill, thanks for the 8 months. As a heads up, my schedule is changing a little bit, so that's something I should probably mention today. I was live all day yesterday. For the foreseeable future, while my children are not in school, I am going to be taking 2 days off during the week and be live on Saturdays and Sundays. Is my current plan. Just because my wife is also working from home. So I want to take 2 days off during the week so she's not like juggling children every day while she's trying to work. You love to see it. Reveal. Eat this guy with my copy. Hungry Extinction. Okay. Yeah, Cling to Dust was, like I mentioned, expecting Cling to Dust to be impressive, and Cling to Dust, I feel like it really delivered for us there. Felt super reasonable. Cry of the Carnarium seems pretty bad. Extra Agonizing Remorse sounds good. This is probably a Thief of Sanity matchup, huh? Sounds reasonable. It is currently spring break for my children. And it's going to be an extra long spring break. And they're just enjoying watching TV and playing video games. It's going to be a long spring break, chat. It's going to roll right into summer break, most likely. You know, I want Grasp. I probably want Gust. Maybe want Grasp. This is a Ritual of Soot matchup. A lot of their stuff dies to it. But I feel like I'd rather just have the spot removal, especially with Thief of Sanity coming in. I need 2 more cuts here. Yeah, could possibly roll all the way into Christmas break. You're not wrong. Is Scorn the trim? Feels like Scorn could be the trim. Actually, Augur's not really a useful blocker in this matchup, right? We could just cut Augur. That's actually probably the line. I'll leave a ritual in. Let's do that. My boss mentioned that his spring break plans have evolved from a trip to Paris with his kids to a trip to Florida with his kids, and now his kids are going to repaint the house while on spring break. Yeah, Ritual does kill Uro and Crisis. I think I keep the Cling here because I want the cantrip with this hand. I agree, Dallas. Hopefully we're able to manage to have an election in November, and when people vote, they remember what actually happened. I think there's a lot of people who up until this point have always been comfortably middle class that have largely checked out of the political process, and they thought all of them were all the same because that's the lie that they've had repeated to themselves, and they're going to very quickly realize that they are in fact not all the same, and who they vote for really matters. I mean, they're going to remember what's happened if this is all still going on come November. They're not going to have to remember. They're just going to still be experiencing it. Do we take Atris or do I take Tamiyo here? I think I'm going to take the Atris because I can Gust to tempo the Tamiyo and then eventually just eat her. And hopefully she just like pluses and misses and then I get a 1-for-1 out of it. Would be nice. Yeah, Cling drawing a card on non-creatures is really sweet. They're just passing. That's exciting. Does Gust Tameo in response to her +1 work to effectively kill her? No, it doesn't, because they don't name what they're naming with Tameo until it resolves. So if you Gust Tameo in response to her +1, they'll just name Tameo. I don't think I need a second eat here. I'll just go ahead and pass. They're holding up Veil. Thank goodness that card's gone. They have a Stone Coil Serpent in their deck, sure. So, exactly like we wanted to play out here. We get to 1-for-1 their Tameo, which is great. I'm going to keep the castle there. Having lands that do things sounds really appealing here. That's why they did it. Okay. So, I'm going to do this in case we find an Aether Gust here. Tilt. Hopefully they minus Tameo. Rats. Seek and find. They draw land for the turn? They did. Okay. I was kind of expecting them to minus to get a land. I want to exile a non-creature here because I want to draw a card. Roxer Boxers, thanks for the entire year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around to get your sword to go with that shield.
I think you will find my notes helpful.
Alright, they binned an Uro here, but they don't have double blue. So when they go to crack this Fabled Passage, I get to cling the Uro in response. Howdy, Naya. Aether Gust sounds great. Don't erasure them. There's a Tameo. Yeah, good call. So I just let Dispute resolve then? I could Gust Tameo. I could Gust Tameo in response. Yeah, I guess we're a little soft to Uro. Maybe I should just not pay and then cling him there. That's probably what I'm supposed to do. This is one of the Secret Lair card backs, I believe. Yeah, I probably foobarred this game. Wow, they're not minusing to pick something up. That seems so good for us. Yeah, I feel like I messed up a little bit, but my opponent's game decisions have made our mess up less detrimental here. Okay. I feel like there's not an Oracle in their deck because they conceded last game. I feel like if they had an Oracle in their deck, they wouldn't have conceded last game. Is it possible all their islands are in the bin? Yeah, maybe they are after that last plus. I think it's possible to make a competitive zoo deck in Historic. I don't know. Maybe with Questing Beast at the top end. Maybe. They don't have any cards in their hand, right? So this is just like Doomblade. This is just exile your Tameo. And then I'm going to lose 4 more cards off my deck to this, but this is going to kill Ashiok next turn. If this is a blank, we should win the game. It's a pretty good first game. Opponent also playing a pretty off-meta deck as well, though. So. Gruul is pretty much a zoo deck. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good comparison. Yeah, if you haven't seen the Gruul decks, I think Gruul is one of the better decks in Historic. The Cleveland Zoo ain't too shabby in Historic. God bless. Now, there aren't any decks like that that have seen play so far, to my knowledge, Naya. Ooh. I think I want to Erasure first here to try and clear like a Mayhem Devil or a good 3-drop before I stick the Augur for blocking. Well, shoot. Perfect. Yeah, I think I've pretty much come to the conclusion that I don't expect to play any really competitive events on Arena anymore. Maybe if they're, I guess that's not fair. I don't intend to play competitive events on Arena anymore unless they're a format that I really like. Like, I skipped the actual the actual invitational qualifier this month, because just like this current standard format, there isn't a super competitive deck that I really enjoy playing. And I think that's just going to be my plan for the foreseeable future. Unless there's a deck I love, I'm just planning to skip any competitive stuff that I qualify for. Magic prizes aren't good enough to slog through a format that you don't love. Okay, so we're going to Scorn the Woe Strider here. Go down to 6. Augur of Bolas is going to die to claim to fame, but it is what it is. Probably dead to Cauldron Familiar. Sword and Shield, you are indeed ready to live up to your username. What would it take for me to try Naru Cord and Pioneer? Probably $50 American. Is my current price tag for Magic the Gathering online formats. This finds a Thought Erasure, we could be okay. Okay. We're dead in 5 to the cat. I consider eating the cat. Well, they have a Witch's Oven in play, so eating the cat doesn't seem particularly great. Modern is real mid-range heaven right now. Call. I think maybe you're enjoying your specific deck, but I feel we're not dead on board. I have a 1/3 blocker. I feel like calling any format where Amulet Titan is one of the best decks in the format mid-range heaven is probably an exaggeration. I did really enjoy playing Kiki Chord last time we played Modern, but again, it's fine to like enjoy the format, but then also have a basis in reality. I think that's one of the biggest pieces of Magic, and honestly TCG player FUD in general that exists. I really despise the idea that if a format is competitive, then it's not. There's this idea among players that if a format is competitive, it can't be fun. And I think that's just patently false. I think the idea that in order for a format to be fun, it can't be competitive is based around the fact that competitive formats tend to not be managed well. Sure, I mean, you just said what I said, right? Like, you have a deck that you specifically enjoy playing, and that's great. But, like, don't extend your anecdote to the entirety of the format. Like, again, using Pioneer as a really clean, recent example, the issues with Pioneer aren't that it had competitive tournaments, because Pioneer had competitive tournaments right from the start. The issue with Pioneer is the fact that when the format became bad and certain play patterns popped up, they left it to rot. The issue with Pioneer is that when Theros happened, they stopped managing the format. Hey, there's a Cling to Dust. Okay, we might scrape this out. Sure, yeah, formats like Pioneer and Modern tend to have very focused, localized metagames. And that's fine, that's good. Cling to Dust really giving this blue-black deck something that this archetype typically tends to lack, which is the ability to gain some life in the mid game. Why not exile the cat after they sack it before they get the food? Yeah, I guess I could probably wait, huh? That's a good point. As is often the case, I didn't make the good play because I was bad. Yeah, now we eat a cat, right? And I could do it during my upkeep so I can try and surveil into a land. So they have draws next turn that kill us. Like almost assuredly. But I think this is the play to win line. Like Devil's lethal, Dreadhorde Butcher's lethal, Cat's lethal, and they get a redraw here on it as well. It's the best Knight of the Reliquary deck we played in Historic Store. We played a really awesome Fall of the Thran deck yesterday, which was quite superb. All right, we need 2 more bricks out of them here. And then we get we've got enough cards in our bin to cling twice here. Ah, we were so close. We were so close. If I perhaps would have held the first time I played Cling to tag their cat, I think we would have had 1 more point of life there and been better off. It was a big deal. We had 2 Cry of the Carnarium in our deck there too that we never drew. That would have been super good. It was a good game of Magic. I think I like this board plan. Cling again, looking really impressive. The problem with Enter the God-Eternals is you only gain life if it deals damage to something, and their deck's incredibly likely to have an Oven in play, which means we're incredibly unlikely to gain life with it. I did do that, Punishing Waterfalls. I have all 3 Remorse in my deck, and I have 2 Thought Erasure. And my archetype cannot take an artifact off the table. Pizza! Thank you for the absurdly generous tier 3 resub. Welcome back. Mountain Face, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate you dropping off the Prime again. Yeah, if you see an ad roll into your Prime sub normally, that means it's currently lit up. I'm gonna keep this. It's got a little bit of card selection. It's got our colors. It's got a removal spell here. Tayaka Kamari, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. And RH Will, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Doggett Alex, thanks for the half a year. For folks who are my regulars, as a heads up, I am going to be off during tomorrow's stream. So moving forward while my children are off of school, which could be for the better part of the next year, depending on how this all shakes out. I am going to be streaming every Saturday and Sunday all day during my normal time frame, and then taking off 2 days during the week. Well, we got plenty of options here. I'm gonna leave up 2 lands here, so that way if they have a Dreadhorde Butcher, I can kill it. Yep. Hey, Jiminson. Thanks for the sub gifties. Happy Monday to you. Alright. One good face punch deserves another, huh? Yeah, I guess we just take Midnight Reaper, because that's one of the 2-for-1s us. I'm actually going to keep Chemister's Insight there. Their clock is relatively slow here, and I think I want to amass some card advantage. You went live yesterday, and I thought I was missing work. Thanks for the brief moment of panic. Yeah, the days are all kind of blurring anyways. Slow and steady, Knacker. Today's not Monday, it's actually Thursday 5. Something like that. Alright, looking for a Ritual of Soot here. Kind of surprised they played Devil here, since they know I have Aether Gust. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So I'm going to Gust the Mayhem Devil here, and then we'd love to draw a Cry of Carnarium next turn. Why not Gust in response to make them miss the Scry plus draw? Because I want to be able, I want them to play their second Woe Strider this turn, so this way if I draw Cry next turn, I clear their board. If I Gust the Devil and they redraw it, I'm likely not going to, they're likely going to replay it, which means Cry wouldn't clear the board. I think I'm going to do this and just dig for a sweeper here. Rollins, thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Probably dead here. Just unable to find any amount of cheap interaction once we got started here. Zigzul, thanks for the 20 months. Welcome back. If I find a Cry of the Carnarium, we can cry and then eat this and then maybe be okay. If we find a 2-mana removal spell, we could be okay. Alright. So we're a little bit low here, but, you know, they get to sack 3 things and put us to 3, but they're out of cards. And we have God-Eternal Kefnet plus Eat to Extinction next turn. And again, we're just kind of we're kind of just waiting on that 1 mana instant, right? What's it called? I'm blanking on its name. Cling to Dust, is that it? The escape card? Was literally the best draw on the deck. I think Cry was better because it would have exiled the Woe Striders and then I could have eaten the Mayhem Devil, but this was second best to Cry. Thanks, Jameson. I appreciate it. Christy and I should be in an okay spot, personally. We had a number of dollars saved up to refinish that other room that was supposed to turn into a studio space for me, and that's now just, like, not happening. It's on hold, so... Rain boots. That's an absurd tip. Thank you for your generosity. Thanks for all the content. I'm primarily a YouTube viewer. Your honest take on things is always appreciated. Wanted to express my gratitude and support. That's an absurd amount of gratitude and support. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, definitely in for intervention here, right? So we're gonna lose Ashiok here, I assume. Oh gosh! Intervention. So, So I'm gonna pay blue, and then I get 2 X's for free. I think I'm gonna pay 2 mana. And then I can still counter unless they pay 4 next turn. I think that's the play. That's sick. That's really great. That's a pretty good one. You can find the deck queue again. It's under live stream on the website. Live stream, then deck queue. The live stream button has an arrow. That's a drop down. Okay, so I could counter this, but I think I'd rather draw 2 so I can try and find a cling. Now, worth noting that we are dead to a cat here, unfortunately. And there's just nothing we can do about that because we just, like, haven't had a cling in the top half of our deck. I feel like I want a 3rd cling in the sideboard for matches like this. It's just, like, one of our best possible cards. You know what? I'm totes supposed to Erasure there and Surveil 1. That's a really frustrating end to an otherwise great game. You're so close. Very, very close. Yeah, we have efficient life gain. We have cling to dust. I want to put a 3rd cling in the board for that matchup. If we'd have had this card in the top half of our deck, I think we would have won that game and it would not have been close. Instead, we didn't find it. We had a game that was incredibly close. We got like really unfortunate to start that game too, right? Like it took us forever to find cards that could impact the board after they played a discard spell on us. Yeah, I don't know that we want, like, the third Kling in, like, the mid-range and control matchups, but in the aggro matchup, it just seems like the card we need to bridge that gap in the mid to late game. Any Grixis deck you want, sounds good, Spreta. Vomit. Flash deck. We're gonna cycle Cling to Dust and draw a card here. Oh. Some kind of brew? Perfect. Yeah, the fact that this card just, like, cantrips in the non-aggro matchup is just so good. And, like, honestly, it's like pay 5, draw 2 in the mid to late game a lot of the time, right? I'm gonna let this resolve, and I'm just gonna eat it. Just eat it, eat it. Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. I'm gonna bin that. I want to look for lands, and I bet they have counter spells, so playing a 4-mana sweeper and tapping out for it sounds less than stellar. Huh? I think I'm taking the Staggering Insight. Actually, maybe I'm supposed to take this and then Thought Erasure the other one, then Thought Erasure the Staggering Insight. That's probably what's supposed to happen. We killed them game 1 and then they conceded the match game 2. Yeah, I think my discard spell was wrong. I should have taken the Sailor and then Thought Erasured the enchant creature. Actually, let's sabotage this. So that way, if they have a counter spell, they counter my counter, and then I can kill their creature the following turn. In for a third black source here. So let's go Thought Erasure you. They might play Sailor in response. They're not. Sure, I think that's fine at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and do this to take their Sailor out before I can draw more cards. Whee! Much ado, much ado. So we've got 9 cards in our bin, so we can do this once more currently. And gain us some life in a pinch or draw a card. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, right? Not a big deal. We're going to 7 here. I'm going to cast Thassa's Intervention to look at 4 cards here. Agonizing Remorse is actually perfect because I'm going to need to clear the Essence Capture at some point anyways, and this guarantees that this isn't a counterspell, so my Ritual of Soot can resolve. So, even though they have a blank, we're going to want to get rid of their thing at some point regardless. This cleans out the nonsense. Oh, you know what? I already had a blue castle in play. Maybe I should have bottomed that one. I was thinking a blue castle would be useful to have, but I already had one, so it's a little redundant. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a 7 mana, I think I'm actually just going to play the island out here. So this way I can Chemisters plus Cling this turn. What if instead we didn't do that? Oh, you know what? They have the castle activation here. I should have waited to do this during their upkeep or until after they scryed, because now they get to scry with the added information that they are losing their threat. So I gave them a little bit of extra information before they scryed that I wasn't required to give them. So spewed a little bit of value there. Sure. My friend. There's now 14 cards in my bin, so this is representing 2 draws currently, or some combination of draws and life. Like, I'm gonna draw a card to start here, because I could just use some action. So if this exiles a creature, you gain 3. If it exiles anything other than a creature, you draw a card. Ooh, should have left the black up in the event that I drew that, huh? Let's scry. Sometimes the blue castles like drawing 2 cards, chat. The Kefnet's been real sweet, especially with like these clings and these ops. Been quite stellar. I would love to have an opt on top of my deck, because that opt on top means that next turn I get to cling, draw the opt, copy the opt with the Kefnet. I'm going to do this on their upkeep before they have a chance to draw counterspells for the turn. So your first card drawn each turn with Kefnet, you can reveal and copy it and play the copy costing 2 less. Obviously, if it just costs blue, it's the same cost. Yeah, I think I'm just in for Sabotage. I'm just going to go ahead and pass back now. And now I have enough cards in my hand at this point and with the Kefnet that I think I'm supposed to cling to gain 3 life, just get over the hump a little bit. Disfigure seems good here. Cry does not seem like it hits enough of their stuff. I think Libation is actually kind of okay here, just because I want to be able to just kill everything they put into play. Opponent agreed that we were over the hump. Augur of Bolas doesn't really block anything here, so that seems like a fine card to trim. Leave 1 crying. That's going to be a match where I board in another Cling to Dust. Its cost is pretty low and its upside can be high. I have some thoughts about this hand, but I might have misplaced them. Don't have a removal spell for that. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to take this? Yeah, the Staggering Insight might be about to run away with this here. Yeah, I should have taken the Staggering Insight. Now, they're not going to concede to the discard spell. They might think that because I didn't take it, I have a removal spell, and like I scryed top. Yeah, okay, so they're playing Scared. Are you scared, opponent? Big mean blue-black deck got you scared? And now they're waiting for the negate up, so I get to sabotage this. They'll negate me. They'll draw a card. I'll eat their Sprite. And this works out pretty well. So they get to draw a card, but I get to take their sustained source of card advantage off the table. It's actually been a really good set. This has been the best standard deck we've played in a long time. Definitely have had low expectations going into most of the standard matches of late, and this one thoroughly exceeded. Don't tell Matt. I mean, the Sultai and other blue-black control like we played earlier in the season felt okay. I just haven't played them in a while. Yeah, Cling to Dust is something that I've not played in anything before, and it's just been impressive. It's such an innocuous card. Like it doesn't look like much. So set you recommend buying on Arena if I wanted to get more money to get my MTG fix. What format are you looking to play, Shadow Kid? Are you looking to play Standard or are you looking to play Historic? That question dictates where I recommend you spend money. Easy Uro Exile. What problem do you think gets solved by adding Atris, Quasser? Mostly standard. If you're planning to mostly play standard, I would recommend buying Eldraine and Theros pet boosters, because those sets are going to be legal and standard for the longest time period. If you're planning to play historic, I'd recommend buying Guilds and Ravnica Allegiance, because those sets contain shocklands. And while obviously you'll need some shocklands to play standard, depending on the range of decks that you're playing, you'll need fewer cards from those sets that are going to be rotating in the fall. This is going to be our last match, Blades. Definitely, Shaman. Get you in a bit. Any intent in playing on the qualifiers? Negative. T-Sprag. I have a deck queue that basically always has more decks in it than I can get through in a reasonable amount of time. And events like that tend to have a lot of downtime because they're traditional Swiss, and downtime's very bad for viewer counts. So in addition to not getting through my deck queue, I also make less income from... And I also don't have a deck that I love in standard right now. Like, if I had a deck in standard that I was like, yes, all I want to do is play standard with this deck, I would probably consider playing in one or two just because. But... each person has their own individualized front page, Zigzags. That Twitch tries to populate your personal front page with people it thinks you want to watch. Let me go ahead and cycle this here. That's a phenomenal draws here. Yes, Cling to Dust counters the third chapter on Conqueror's Death as well. Really just a super versatile, great example of a card that, like, even when it's not great, it's still fine. And sometimes it's just better. It's been very good every single game. Agree. Thanks for the 12 months, Quintivus. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I didn't play the Liliana because one of the ways we lose this game is an unchecked Dream Trawler. And as long as Liliana's in my hand, she's an answer I can deploy to a Dream Trawler after the fact. Whereas if I play Liliana out, they could Elspeth Conqueror's Death her and then stick a Dream Trawler, and I could be in trouble then. So I feel like I'm really far ahead right now, and when I ask myself the question, how do I lose this game from this position? The answer to that question is unchecked Dream Trawler, so I want to take game actions to play around the possibility of them getting an unchecked Dream Trawler. Okay, so they have 5 cards. They have 4 cards to hold their bin? Yeah, only 4 cards. Sick. I have 9 cards in my bin, so we can cling already. Yes, cling plus Ashiok ultimate is also a thing. Let's start with this and see what we get. I kind of like a Tyrant Scorn to kill the Hydrate Crisis. This stream was pre-recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. So I don't want to cast Uro because I don't want them to go to their bin. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to full control. I'm going to Ashiok -7. And then in response to the Ashiok -7, I'm going to exile their Teferi from their graveyard. And the reason why I have to do this in response is the Ashiok is the 5th card in my discard pile to cling to dust with. So this will throw Teferi into their exile here. And then I can go cast you, cast you, cast you. Again, leaving the Uros there so they don't get those back in the bin so they can escape them. Then I'm going to go ahead and pick an Augur back up here because I'm expecting them to shatter. I'm expecting them to shatter the board now. In response to their shatter, I'm going to opt. So that way my Dream Trawler goes to 4 power and I get to draw an extra card. Yep. Nissa, who shakes her booty. Bringing down the power of the world. This deck is so agile, it really is. I feel like we need... I'm concerned about our ability to actually win the game in time. Yeah, we're definitely eating this, Yeah, so the problem is, I definitely bottomed a Kefnet off of... We only have the one Kefnet in our deck. That one can stay right there. We're trying so many cards, who cares about winning? That's a fair point. It's a fair point. I would love another Eat to Extinction. I'm gonna go ahead and cling to dust and exile their Uro here. This is guaranteed to hit Eat to Extinction, so let's grab that. That's a Sinister Sabotage, though. I think I'd rather get that. We have Augur as our clock. Something. Oh, punished.
I would like to test a new hypothesis with you.
Super punished.
No tails should be discarded.
Beep 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 doo 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 doo. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Hashtag sometimes lucky.
Never hurt anyone. They were a lousy servant anyway.
Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Mono. Oh, you know what? I should have played an untapped land, because if they play Nissa here and kill Liliana, I'll be real sad.
Good help is easy to find in war.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to garbage time. Do I fight for our right to party? I feel like I'm supposed to let this go, huh? I feel like I'm just supposed to say sure. I think I want to fight over their threats. I don't think we're quite at the fight over our threats portion of the game. Any cost, chat. At any cost. Greatness. Man. Dig through time ain't got nothing on us, chat. 6, 9, 12, 14. They drew an X spell as well. Hydroid Crisis. Alright. You showed me yours, I guess I'll show you mine. We said 14, right? So X is 12 here. Okay, and then we know Kefnet's right there. We know the contents of our deck here, essentially. So let's start with this. Because they're dream trolling. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Slightly above average turn. All right, 17 cards left in our deck, 28 in theirs. I don't know if this deck is good, chat, but it's certainly great. I think I'm actually not playing the Kefnet out here because I kind of think they have to sweep these two idiots we have in play now, huh? So, I'm gonna go ahead and cling. Am I? So, if I get Liliana back here, they could deck me with Shatter the Sky, is the problem. So I think I'm actually just supposed to do this and pass.
The shadows awaken.
Oh, wait. You know what I should have done? I should have played God-Eternal Kefnet, and I could have opted into Thought Erasure on their draw step. That's what I should have done. I should have played Kefnet and opted into Thought Erasure on their draw step. That was the line. Alright, Gus, Grasp, Agonizing Remorse seem fine. I don't know if this is a Thief of Sanity matchup or not. It's probably... Augur of Bolas is poop. Easy cut. There we go. Fills us out a little bit here. Libation kills Troller. Yeah, I think I'm down with that. Yeah, I don't want these. Yeah, let's try. Who needs win conditions, really? What if we replace Augur with Brazen Borrower? I don't know, Percy. I want to play more games against the aggressive decks before cutting Augur. Augur was part of why we were competitive against the red-black sack deck. And like, while it's less than stellar in matches like this, I think cutting it in general without playing the aggro matches a bunch would probably be a mistake. One win con is plenty. Oh, Magic players. Hey, Basic Lands, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. I'm going to play the Blast Zone and get this cranked up to 2 proactively so I can clear Hydrate Graces out later. Borrower helps versus aggro to completely disagree. Borrower is a temporary solution to permanent problems against aggro. It's mediocre at best. 2 mana unsummon doesn't really help you not die to 1-drop aggressive decks. The fact that it can't block is huge, correct? Stay safe out there, Gala. Yep, sounds great. I'm just gonna take their Conqueror's Death. Sick. Can do something with that later. Yeah, I think I agree with that, Blue Lemons. I'm not even sure if the Thief is good in this deck in general. It might just be a card that's just like not stellar. So they still have that. They also have that too, so like definitely on the just pass plan here. We have Castle to start scrying, which is great. Scry me a river, baby. Man, it's been a while since I've tagged a standard deck the deck of the day. I think I'm gonna pay 5 and draw a card here. Feels like a pay 5 to draw a card type matchup, huh? Yeah, sometimes I tag multiple favorites. Like if a historic deck is also good, I'll probably tag one of those as a favorite also. Bob found Thragtusk, something like that. I think I'm into opt. Is it crazy to just play this out? I feel like it's not. Let's opt first and see what we get. I guess this is gonna cost me 4. Well, I can wait to cast Cling till they target something, which I think is correct, because, like, if they play something next turn, that I, like, have to counter or, like, kill and puts to the graveyard, they could get something else back with Elspeth Conquers Death. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave that, actually. It replaces itself, and having more things to exile other stuff with sounds good. Hey, Prime subs are all the same to me. I really appreciate the support. Smituga. Saga's trigger main phase. Shake this one, Nissa. The fact that this counters this third chapter and then draws a card is kind of absurd. I was really ready to be disappointed by this deck, and I'm having such mixed feelings right now. I'm scared, chat. I'm scared. So I'm just gonna go ahead and gust this. Because then if I gust this, I attack with this and then it gets exiled, right? So that's fine. So I had another Cling in my bin, Percy. So like if they veto my Cling, I just escape it. Snow Source, thanks for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Welcome to Hoaglandia. I wouldn't be here without folks like you shipping me their Prime. keep holding on to Liliana. She's gonna keep attacking for 2, exiling, scrying. This is like Dream Trawler insurance, basically. Maybe I should start ticking Blast Zone to 6 for extra Dream Trawler insurance. That might be a real thing. Well, unfortunately, it's probably not going to be your last Red Ranger. We are very scarily on track to be as bad or worse than things as they are in Italy. Italy is reporting hundreds of fatalities on some days. Well, that's unfortunate.
Stand by and watch. Enough. Let's try this.
So I can tick Blast Zone to 3 and activate Blue Castle here, which seems good. 300 per day. Yes, with proper isolation. The US is on track. Yes, 300 deaths per day. Yesterday was over 600 in Italy. Yeah. All right, so what are we doing here? They have 3 cards in hand. They have 26 cards left in their deck. I need to kill this. I probably want to kill this. At a minimum, I think I'm going to go ahead and destroy Hydroid Crisis. And then I think I'm just going to pass here. Because if they give me something worth responding to, like with Aether Gust, I can use this to blow up Teferi. And this isn't going to generate card advantage next turn. It's just plussing, which isn't a big deal. Foggy, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. All right, sure, yes. You have played another 3-drop into my Blast Zone.
Contain your prowess.
I can respond. I have a Blast Zone.
Don't worry. I got you.
Should have killed the Crisis with Ritual of Soot. I might have needed the mana, right? No, I guess you're right. I didn't. If I would have used Ritual, I would have had exactly enough mana here still. How long this match has been is the warning on my time. I have a timer warning up, so I should probably try and play a little bit quicker here. This is only game 2, and I'm down to 12 minutes. They have 19 minutes. So probably going to be reading chat a little bit less and trying to play quickly so we don't time out in this game. They're up 7 minutes on me, so I kind of got to play like speed magic. In fact, I'm going to minimize chat and just focus on playing. I feel like we're ahead at the moment. I'd really prefer not to time out while we're ahead. I don't think I need a Noxious Grasp this Teferi just yet. Especially because, like, I can't hold anything up anyways. I had the possibility to kill this with a 2-2 this turn. So, like, yeah, let's just do that. Make another friend and pass. Let's make sure I cast this while leaving double blue up so I can draw Sabotage to sabotage Tameo. Yep. We'll see what she does here.
Make an excellent informant for my
She might just down tick and grab an answer to Liliana. And then, like, the zombie kills her. It's like they might just, like, trade Tameo for my Planeswalker.
harm my scrolls.
Yeah, okay. So this is like, it's not really a 2-for-1 because we're going to be able to cling to dust whatever they try and get back with Conqueror's Death. So we're going to get to kill Tameo here, and then we're still pretty far ahead. The attacks on the second chapter of this will be a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to play the untapped land here, so I just have the most mana possible. There's lots of different things in here they could get back, so I'm going to wait to exile something until they target it. Because this chooses what it's getting back when it goes in the stack, not when it resolves. I'm going to go ahead and hold the God-Eternal Kefnet in my hand for now, because I'm pretty far ahead in terms of card advantage, and I'd prefer to not lose Kefnet plus my zombies to a sweeper. So we draw a card, their last chapter does nothing. Looking for counterspells at this point, basically. Perfect. Libation even gives us an insurance plan in case they rip a Dream Trawler, so I don't have to counterspell it. Sick. That was super impressive. Like, this deck was not only felt good, but it was fun, you know? I'm glad we're still hammering. I don't intend to play a ton of Standard again. I think one deck per day is a good rate. I'm glad I took this one. I really wasn't expecting a lot from this, and it felt like it was a pretty reasonable mix of things overall. Yeah. I feel like my one thought after playing was that I probably would like to err on the side of having more lands in the deck, especially with the utility lands available. I did Meatballs, thank you for that. That'll get added after I'm done today. I think I'd cut an Augur and play a 26th land. Like, we've got 5 utility lands in the deck and 4 temples. I think we probably lose more games to stumbling and dying than flooding and dying. So I think that would be my one change. If you didn't watch this, we played this deck for almost 2 hours. It was a great set. It's definitely going to be tagged as one of my favorite decks for the day. So, as for right now, we got to get on to the next deck because I want to make sure we get through everything I want to get through today. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get set up. And when we get back, we are going to play some Abzan Dreadfield here. So we'll be back in just a few. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for hanging out today, folks.